what's going on, guys? I'm just in my backyard right now. So, I just finished the 10K a couple days ago, and I thought I'd come out here and not necessarily give you guys advice, because I don't think, not everybody's the same, and not necessarily what's going to work for me is going to work for you. But I'm going to kind of tell you how I shaved 3 minutes off my 10K time in a matter of 3 months. Now, those 3 months, they seem to drag on a lot longer than it does when you look at it from a distance, because every single day, you're doing something. Every single day, you got to put in, you got to do some work in order to get to your goal. And I don't want to be sitting here. I don't want to sit here and preach to you guys. Oh, just do the work. All you have to do is do the work, do the work, do the work, do the work. Yeah, of course you have to do the work. You already know that. But you kind of want to know what type of work do you have to do, So let's start off with kind of how many miles was I running. Before I started running the training that I was doing for the 10K, I was trying to do about 6 miles every single day. Now, I wasn't very focused in on this goal yet, so it was, here or there. It wasn't very consistent. Maybe I wanted to instead lift the weights one day. But when I actually started my goal, I started, running every single day, because that was a commitment of mine that I had made. So right off the bat there, one key point that I guess should be taken is you just have to be consistent. That's kind of how it goes with a lot of things. You just have to be consistent with your work. Of course, you want to make sure it's decent quality work. You don't want to be running, not very few miles. I don't know. But you still want to be running, you don't want to necessarily be running hard every single day, because then you're going to get too tired. My peak mileage during this training was just about 60 miles in 1 week. And it was very rough. It was very rough, and there was points when I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. I was often very tired, and especially during the winter months, it was starting to look a little bleak. But I'm happy I got through it, and just because of that, it helped me in my running. And I was hitting mainly 50-mile weeks, though. I think I probably only hit about 160-mile week, just because I was trying to adapt my body to these higher mileage weeks that I've never done before. So that's kind of how many miles I was doing in a week. Some days, running 10 miles back to back, and then I did 2 speed workouts throughout the week. One would be like a track kind of workout where you do repeats, like 800-meter repeats for a big one, like 8 by 800 meters, like 10 by 400 meters, like 3 by 1 mile, 4 by 1 mile. And then a couple days later, I would do on Fridays, I would do hill sprints, I would do fartleks, I would do occasionally I did a tempo run. Things like that is what I would do on Fridays. So maybe a little bit more, different type of speed workout. And then, of course, you have the Sunday long runs. Now, I'm a big fan of the Sunday long runs. I'm a big fan of Sundays in general, and I've talked about that a lot in the past, but I just think that the long run is very important, especially when you're training, just to get you out there and used to longer bouts of exercise. Hour and a half, 2 hours, just going out there. It doesn't, it's not going to be the hardest, like on your legs, but it's going to be mentally hard, and it's going to be, of course, like, I guess it's going to be hard on your legs too. It's very important, like I said earlier, with consistency to have that structure. So, you can't just say, I'm gonna keep my entire schedule in my mind, because you're not gonna hold yourself as accountable when it's in your mind, compared to when you have it written down or on a spreadsheet or in a notebook. So having it written down is definitely a lot better for keeping yourself accountable and being more consistent. Now, depending on how fast you want to be, depends on where you're at right now. How long it's gonna take me to get down from 37 minutes to 34 minutes. It could have been 3 months. I could have done it maybe a couple weeks ago. I didn't necessarily plan it just like extremely right. So basically what it comes down to is you have to get, of course, your core mileage. You have to slowly build up to more miles and more mileage and more mileage, until you can run your peak mileage weeks pretty consistently and a little bit easier. So that's going to allow you to, especially in the latter half of especially longer races, is going to allow you to push through and stay aerobic instead of going anaerobic. So it's going to allow you to have better form in the latter stages. You're not going to feel it in your legs until later in the race. So basically, let's recap so far. So we have things like keeping structured training to keep yourself accountable is what I use. Building up mileage to higher mileage weeks. And especially when you're maybe training hard for the first time, or maybe you're just going into a new training session, or maybe you're training for a new longer race than you've never ran before. I think it's good to push yourself outside of a comfort zone, outside of the normal amount of miles that you would normally run casually, because this is training and it should be harder. So you should be pushing yourself, and you want to be able to force your body to adapt to become better and become faster. So you're going to have to run more miles than maybe you ever had before, because you want your body to adapt. You don't want it to be a walk in the park for 3 months because your body's not going to adapt. And then you have speed workouts. So you're going to be running maybe a lot more miles, and maybe you're just slugging along, right? Speed workouts are going to allow you to not only run those longer miles faster, but it's going to make you feel better when you're going to be running the faster paces. So that's very important. And also the long run. We already kind of talked about it. Long run is very important for just exposing your body to the elements of exercise for a little bit longer. Those are kind of the basics that I've taken away from my training session for these last 3 months. It was long runs, being consistent, and holding yourself accountable, and then of course speed workouts as well. But speed workouts, I knew I was not as much. So I don't know, those just couple things right there. I think it seems very simple, but it's just doing it. And if you want to reach your goals or whatever you have, I don't know what you want to do, don't take my advice, or do take my advice. I don't know what you want to do. Just try it. I don't know what you want to do. I'm just out here telling you what worked for me. If you want to go out and try something similar, just make sure you write it down. Kind of plan it out. Plan for the future, so every single morning. You don't have to think about it. you just know, I gotta get up and I gotta do this, you know, and you're gonna go do it no matter what. You might say to yourself, kind of superficially, that you know you don't want to go run, but deep down you know that you're gonna go run. I don't know if this video or this talk is even gonna be good. I don't know if this information is good. I hope you guys can maybe kind of learn from my experiences. I'm not sure. I've kind of learned from my own experiences, so I mean that's kind of all that matters. You know, I don't really like when people go out and give unsolicited advice when they actually haven't done anything to themselves to help themselves. I like learning from other people's experiences, and when they got an experience that they can kind of talk about and kind of why this or that helped them in the long run or in the short term. You know, I want to hear how it helped the person. I don't want to hear about how I should change myself, because that's not very helpful. You know, I know what I need to do to change my behavior. I want to know I want to see the tangible effects, you know. I don't know if that also makes any sense. I kind of don't know how, I'm kind of going on for a long time right now, so I'm gonna end it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be seeing you guys in this weekend, actually. We're going to do another 10K, and in San Francisco. It's gonna be fun. Not gonna be going too hard though, because still trying to recover from injuries that I got before this last 10K. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace, bruh.